Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, July 9th, 2026. How is everybody? I did remember to hit stream, go live on YouTube. Uh, so that's a win for today. Right here. All right, it's Thursday afternoon. It's streaming time. That means most of the work today. That's a good day. How's it going, Gabriel? It's means most of my work is done. We're gonna sit back and we're gonna do some streaming today, seeing if Twitch behaves for you. Yeah, I hope so. And then so we got some repairs to do today. I got a few in the mail. We're gonna work on the ones we were working on yesterday. I had to call in a favor from a colleague for the correct size pressure bar for that vest pocket Duofold. I'm just not going to try to make something. It usually doesn't work out like you want it to. So that one is going to have to wait until next week. But we'll continue on those senior Duofolds. I've got 4 other pens, and then we will get back around to working on those Koh-inoors. I would like to get one assembled today would be the goal. They've been, the stylographs have been, the needles and the sections have been soaking rapidograph overnight. It's mostly a 80, 85, 90% rapidograph to water solution. And by the looks of it, there's not much stuff in there, but we'll get to that later. We should get to that later. And then if all goes well, which you never know, we've got some other pens to assemble and test. And that would be an ideal situation. So maybe I should just stop yammering on and we should get on to business. There we go. All right. So this guy here, we're going to wait. Probably should put a sack on it. But I know the bar's not going out till tomorrow. I'm probably not going to get it right away. I can do that on Monday. I have a couple pens maybe I might show on the podcast later, so maybe I kind of want to move forward with that. This guy was kind of a pain in the butt to me, so we're going to start with that one. And I just want to see. It's not, I got pretty much everything, but it's now had a full day to dry. So let's grab another top sheet here of our official July notepad. We got a brand new towel. We got new water. We are good to go. I'm going to try my new one. Because it's a little bit bigger. It actually looks really good. You got me on a big screen today, Russell? Just going to try a Q-tip, and I actually think this is really pretty clean and ready to go. "32-inch smart TV." I was thinking like 50-inch or something. When you said big. When I was in Baltimore, I watched the podcast on like this ridiculously large TV. It was just so humorous. In fact, I took a picture because it was just unbelievably large. Okay, that looks good. Well, I've got this one open. Just going to do a little polish on the inside here. Q-tip kind of sucks. You found out the Edison Collier accommodates all your stack nibs, so I'll be getting an ancient orchid from you soon. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I got them in stock. What kind of stacked nibs? Who made them? Oh, you got all kinds. Okay. Standard Yovo number 6 kind of thing. Okay. You commissioned a clear collier from Edison and tested them all out. All right, let's assemble this cap. It's a little oxidation on the cap, but it's not bad. It looks okay. Just gonna double check these threads. We don't want anything to happen screwing this back together. That looks neat. Someone should do yellow pens with red clips. Didn't Lamy do that? Well, like we talked yesterday, this right here is the pen. A cap like this, not easy to find. They're always cracked. You decided you wanted to corral a collection of every Vacuumatic model in emerald. Got another step closer with a slender lockdown that popped up on eBay this morning for, you think, a good buy now price. Good. I was just buying. I was not buying. I was just bidding on a few things on eBay just before the stream. I did not get the high bid. So we will see what transpires. Reminds me of a gentleman I knew, and I haven't talked to him in a long time, so I don't know what the current status is. He only collected green Esterworks. Nothing else. And before you think that that's an easy, you just looked it up and they did a red pen with the red pen with the yellow clip. Oh. Before you think collecting every green Esterwork is an easy task, let me assure you, it is not. Not only do you have the standard green twist filler, Good luck finding that one. You have all of the foliage green. $1.50 models, including in the V-clip. Hey, Colin, you stopped in for a few moments before you set off for Indy to move furniture? Oh, that doesn't sound like fun. So far, you've got the standard and oversized lockdown, a speed line shadow wave, and a 3rd gen major, then the slender lockdown. Got a couple new pens listed on the site today. Vintage pieces. If you've been hanging around here long enough, you saw them repaired about a month ago, give or take. I had one piece up for about 3 minutes. I didn't actually time it, but it was about 3 minutes. And somebody sent me an email about one of them and bought it. Nice Conway Stewart with the left oblique nib. Couple of weird, not weird, just different Italian Asturia Nova button filler. A Hurlitz Bugatti. Special thanks to my friend David for identifying that one. Nice little Sheaffer ring top. And a Waterman Lady Patricia in turquoise. Okay, that went together real well. And a few other pieces. I've got a big group of pens that should be going up hopefully. I was hoping they would go up this week, but that's not going to happen. That were photographed on Monday. Some interesting Japanese kind of second tier Japanese pieces. And I forget what else. All right. Yeah, let's ink these up and let's test these. Got a collection of consignment pens came in today. Some interesting stuff. We're going to show half of them off on the podcast today at 4:30. Because you so rarely get to write with the Mandarin Duofold. We'll put that blind cap on there. Very nice nib. Bilko, yeah. Well, like I mentioned, they're actually being boxed up, which was a little faster than I expected. I might have them next week, so I'll let you know. I do have maybe one of the coolest Bexleys I've ever seen. No worry, no hurry. Yeah, I heard you got a wedding to deal with. I think mine is the one I got to deal with is 15 months away now. Although I don't think there's actually a date. So that's this one I am not going to spin out in the spinner. I'm going to do that one by hand. Just because it would take a certain kind of person to have that kind of trust. Nice to have some time to plan. I don't know. That's all my wife and daughter's department, I guess. My job is to show up, um, look great, and have a nice pen in my pocket. Yours started dating in January, got engaged in April, wedding on August 1st. Wow, talk about moving. Nice, nice medium, smooth medium nib here. Turned 39 a week before the wedding, so I guess she was more than ready. Yeah, well, she knew what she wanted then, right? I mean, probably had things figured out. I mean, technically, Lisa and I started dating on November 1st, and I proposed on Valentine's Day. So, yeah, I mean, and then we were married, well, it was a little bit more than a year. The um, following May 1st. And the only reason we waited so long was that we weren't even living in the same state. So, good afternoon, seeker of stationery. These are two very, very nice senior Duofolds. Mandarin is really something special. I'm going to say this because if I say it, that might mean I might actually, I might come across another one. But it will be a long time before I see a Mandarin Senior this nice again. Okay, those two are done. They can go home. Beautiful nibs. The nibs are fantastic. So if you're watching, if these are your pens and you're watching, thumbs up, thumbs up. The only minor issue, this one, like we noted, time for you to fly. You should keep that pair for an extra week to make sure they're really okay. Yeah, I know, right? I love Mandarin. I do. I really do. As we noted before, there are some really tight hairlines on these threads. Not really. It shouldn't really be a problem. But it should be noted. It is noted on my little writing sample. I'll get in touch with you. Gotta go. Lurking mode. All right. Do some meetings. Do work. Get paid. So I'll get in touch with you on those. We can ship those out as early as tomorrow. All right. Fresh in today. So you can buy more pens for me. Yeah. Well, whatever. You know, I appreciate it. Got some sailors coming in, Russell. All right. 2 different clients. We got 2 military clip balances. Nice pair. We got a green. We got a brown. What more could you ask for? Lever fillers. We got a $10 price on that one. This one is $8.75. A little bit more slender. But we got lifetime nibs. Should have a lifetime. Yeah, lifetime nibs on both of these. Nice visualated section here. This one's a little bit more ambered. So we got those guys. Over here we've got a lovely, I love these, Tuscan Moore L83. No barrel imprint. Boy, that nib is MP Company. MP Co. Well, I'll tell you, it's MP. Really? Is that Moore? Did Moore do MP? Moore Pen Company? That's a first for me. I've never seen one like that. Like, well, what does the M stand for? I don't know. Maybe it's a Moore. I don't know. Yeah, dark Tuscan. A little bit of a crack in the nib at the base. Nib is slightly off, nothing that can't be hopefully easily adjusted. I got some schmutz on here. Very interesting more. Very interesting more. We got a Vacuumatic Junior. Black. This one's interesting because it actually has a Waterman nib in it. And client would like that nib to stay in, so we're going to do that. Thank goodness I just got a bunch of Rapido-E's because I think both of these have seen India ink or Higgins ink or something. All right, so let's get a couple tools out. I don't think I'll need that, but let's just try to take this one out first. I don't think I've ever seen a Parker with the Waterman Vacuumatic with the Waterman nib in it. That's a first for me too. Yeah, I'd like to see pens come in and go out. You know, sometimes I'm like, you know, I might have a pen here for a little bit longer than it needs to be, but um, that doesn't usually happen. My space is at a premium. Is this actually moving? No, it is not. Does that make it a Frankenpen? The Vacuumatic? Yeah. Yeah. All right, so that didn't move. That loosened easier. So I don't normally use this, the Allen wrench on that, but I'm going to take my ring off because sometimes I think anybody who glued a Vacuumatic filling unit in their life should serve penance. Mm. And sometimes if they did that, then they also glued the section in too. And obviously this was repaired by somebody who put a Waterman nib in it. I'm going to remove the nib so that I don't accidentally bugger it up while I'm trying to manhandle the rest of the. Well, there's the diaphragm. That's how your oversize was. It was so frustrating picking shellac out, especially because the back end is pretty thin. Yeah, I don't think this is coming open. Gets to the point where if you heat it too much and it's glued in, you just end up warping the barrel because the barrel moves with the filling unit in it, and you think you're moving it, but you're actually just twisting the barrel. Okay, let's sit and think about that one for a minute. Let's get these balances open. Come on. Come on, people. Ben's got to open today. This always happens. People send in multiple pens, and like there's always one that doesn't open. So you can't send them back until you get that resolved. Hallelujah. Let's get something open so we can work on it, huh? What concerns me is sometimes you get pens in. Client sends the pens in, or you find pens at an antique store or a estate sale, and one doesn't open, right? What concerns me is typically if they came from the same place, did the same person do the same thing to both pens? All right, so this does look like shellac on here. It's very, very poorly done. I can tell the barrel was probably overheated. Probably when this was originally taken out, as you can actually see right in this area here, you can see how it kind of tapers in. And what that is that's when you heat it too hot and you're hanging onto it here so you can pull it open and you squish it. You actually make the barrel slightly longer. So the solution for that is to hold the barrel where you don't heat it. Now, it doesn't always give you as much control, but once you get, hold it back here. Or what I'll do is I'll hold it like this and just keep my fingers here so that I'm not applying any pressure. I'm holding it this way so that I can. Is it squished or stretched? Well, I think what happens, it's like if you were to take a marshmallow and squeeze it. You know, if your marshmallow is this long and you squish it, it squishes it, but then it also makes it longer. Just by a little bit. You see it a lot, actually, with Esterbrook dollar pens. Next time you get one, look at it. It's able to get a little bit of the stuff that had squished out off. All we have to do is get it to move just a little bit. I can tell the sack is completely hard on the inside, because I can hear it rolling around in there as I rotate the pen. Wow. It's not too often I get skunked on 2 pens somebody sends me. I think that one will open. We'll put it in the ultrasonic. One more try. This material is not as robust as the Sheaffer material. What's the wildest or most unexpected pen nib mismatch you've seen come through? That one is easy. The craziest one I've ever seen was a walled Doric that somebody replaced the section in the section and the nib with that from a Sheaffer Fat touchdown. So a conical Sheaffer Fat touchdown nib on a walled Doric. It was pretty ugly. And it didn't work. And I mean, maybe it did work. The nib was shot, so I don't know if it was an experiment or what the problem. Or they used it long enough that it. Yeah, it was. I was like, oh, cool, a black Doric. You know, I don't get many Dorics. I don't get, I don't get things like that typically because it's not what I look for. And if you don't look for them, you don't buy them. I'm like, cool. Probably in a parts bag or something. I'll make my money on this. I'll restore the Doric and everything else is free. Nope. Not anywhere near that. Let me see if I can think of something else. That was the wildest. I mean, that one off the top of my head, just because it was like, because it wasn't an easy, it wouldn't have been an easy, quick fix either. I mean, it was, can you imagine taking your pen to the repair shop? Yeah, man, just put a nib on it. I don't care what it is. Well, I don't have a Waldorf nib. I don't care. Get it working. It's a fountain pen. It needs to fill. It needs to write. Gold nib, please. Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow. You know. You see the occasional Sheaffer nib on a Parker and Parker nib on a Sheaffer and stuff like that. I've got a earlier this year, I think, but I forget what it was. It was like a gold medal or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. A big pen. I just cleaned my desk off of this stuff. And I'll remember which is which. These are completely different sizes. Nib is off kilter too. And I opened it up and it's got a Waterman number 17 nib, which is, a later nib because 17 or 7, not an old 7. I think it's a 17. So I actually have that one sitting in my Waterman bin because I'll never remember I've got a Waterman 17 nib in a gold medal or whatever it is. It's some weird pen that I wouldn't think twice about. Actually, now I'm curious. I can't remember what it is. Oh, it's even worse. Gold medal would be great. Yeah, here it is. It's one of these black chase plastic Morrisons. Okay, I usually had okay nibs, nothing super, but it's got this huge Waterman Ideal Rigid number 17 nib in it. Just a big monster. So I guess I could probably just take this nib out and put it in my bin, but I just left it in my Waterman bin. So I look at it and go, oh, well, that's what it is. I don't usually go into my wall parts barrels very often, so every once in a while I go in there. I go in the bin and I'm like, oh, what if I have this door? And wasn't a big dork. It was a smaller dork. And they go, oh, what is this doing in here? I should fix this up. And then I'd open up and go, oh yeah, forgot about you. I don't know if you can see that, but you see that red there? Yeah, that's not a good sign. Got the owner's name, Harry Braunworth, on the cap bands. All right, so these are pretty solid. So what we're going to do is we're going to put those in, but we got to run those out on the spinner. I just get an email. I can't believe this. About U.S. postal rates going up. Rate changes going up July 12th. Oh, USPS Ground Advantage. Yeah, I heard about this. I think what they're doing is they're trying to capture some of that larger package market that UPS and FedEx are occupying. Yeah, sometimes you get a mismatch and it's a happy mismatch. Usually it's happy when you buy it like off of an auction site or something, and it's some crappy pen, and hey Mike, rating with the party at 21. That's a lucky number. How's everybody doing? Dustin, Banana Duck. Fantasy, Animal Vegan. Hi for Mike. Olive, what's going on? We've got the world's most stubborn pens today. This guy. If Parker makes a pen with the model number, that's what makes it lucky, right? You got to go. Dump and pump. Thanks, man. Have a good rest of your day. Good weekend. Take care. Yeah, I think if Parker makes a pen with a model number, it's pretty lucky. What y'all missed? I'll show you this, but I'm not going to ink it up. Again. Although it has been suggested I maybe keep these pens for another week just to make sure they're okay. Look at this. You won't see another one of these. I say that, which means I'll get one next week. Mandarin Senior Duofold. Perfect. Perfect. No cracks. That cap is like, it ought to be in a bomb-proof case. Beautiful. It wrote great. Really beautiful. This pen, maybe not as, and it's definitely not as perfect, but the nib was just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. What a beautiful 1928 pair. So nice. I love Mandarins. If I could, if in my lifetime I could acquire a complete collection of Mandarin Seniors, and if we're being picky, that means, are there four? Yellow threads, wedding band cap, flush cap, and 2-band. Are there any more? Anybody know? My friend David might know, but he's not with us today. There's at least 3. And the yellow thread version was only for a few months when it first came out. I guess you get Streamline too. You got Streamline. There's at least 4. I got 2. I got 2. They're not perfect. They're not like that. That is just outstanding. You can start your collection right here, yeah? Well, those aren't mine, unfortunately. And I have that one. Match makes things. Hey, Brian, thanks for streaming. Yeah, you betcha. Someone's got to repair these pens, right? This frustrates me, though. And I'm not frustrated with the person that sent them in, but when people send pens in and like none of them open, I go, these pens won't repair themselves. No, not really, not usually. But I just get frustrated, and you get, this is a beautiful, beautiful, more Tuscan. That somebody decided they had to put it sure seemed like shellac. If I could just get some of it off and get some water in there, moisture in there. But yeah, I don't want to collect all the mandarins. I don't want the ladies. I don't want the vest pocket. I could be persuaded to maybe get a junior and the desk pens. Although, if I wanted the desk pens, I screwed myself because I had 2 of them and I sold both of them. Nick B with 5 pens. They were probably changed when these pens were normal off-supply commodities and sat for 70 years. What happens if you get another pen? Do you still have 5 pens, Nick? You have to change your handle? All right. All right, let's see how. That's why you can change Twitch your username or 1 in, 1 out if you wanted. I could never. I always admire those people who do the 1 in, 1 out thing. That is never going to work for me. I don't have that kind of willpower. I thought about it for a while. But, I got rid of a lot of my pens, and maybe that's what I need to do now. Well, those nibs are not done yet. They're pretty inky. You could do like 9 in and 1 out. Yeah, I could do that. 20 in, 1 out, maybe. I don't even like that. I don't even like those odds. Here's a collection idea that could run as wild as you want it. Pick a Parker model and find every date code each quarter. So pick a Vacuumatic and get every. Oh heavens! Just the dot system. No, every quarter. Oh man, I had never thought of doing that. I thought it was bad enough that you take into account. So one collecting idea I had once was to take Esterbrook's. Take the J series, okay? Let's break this down. 12 to 18 month cooldown period between pens. Take your Esterbrook J series, all right? 6 colors. 3 sizes. It's 18, okay? Very achievable. Very, very achievable. Two different lever designs. 36. Spade and spoon. All right. There's the early 1947. And we just talked double jewels. Early 1947. 12 to 18 date cooldown. Fixed that for you. Nice. 47 imprint only came in spade style levers, so add another 18. Now we're at 54. You want to get really super picky. There are some early 47 models with threaded jewels. Not the 3-rib jewels that come in the transitionals. Don't even get involved in those. That's really, really hyper picky, though. You got 54 with different imprints just in the J series. Well, no, that's not right, is it? Yeah, 13, 16, 54. Because finding 1947 pens in LJ and SJ sizes are very difficult. And the imprint basically is the same imprint, but without the registered trademark symbol. And I have to think about it. You see them on full-size J's, but I have to think whether or not I've actually ever seen them on LJs and SJs. They made those pens, right? Because they made them in transitional sizes. They're not common. They're out there. But every date code. Oof. What, I mean, when do they start doing date codes? I mean, there's about 15-year. Do they make desk sets with those? What's that? The Esterbrookes with the... Yeah, then, if you want to add... The desk set's a whole nother ball game. There are lots of variations in desk sets. Well, forget the desk sets, the desk pens, right? So 6 colors. 6 primary colors. Black, blue, gray, red, green, copper. Spade and spoon style for those. Thankfully, only one size, right? So 6, 12. You want to do bandless? 18. You've got the solid colored pens that came later. Gray, aqua, burgundy, brown, SM Deluxe style colors. Diplos are even worse. And there are hard rubber Esterbrook desk pens. I would almost put those in the rare category. I mean, I don't even know what... I'm going to spin these out. What pen they would have even gone on. Or what base they would have even gone on. So yeah, but yeah, Parker. Oh man, that would be. I mean, you could make it maybe more complicated and say, or it wouldn't be necessarily easier. Like one color, like just do gray pearl vacuum addicts. and then get them in everyday code. That would be something. Yeah, it would be easier to get, just say, okay, whatever color. That way too. I might need a little bit more time in the ultrasonic with these, or Dr. G's, or Rapido-Ease. We've got so many options now that we have Rapido-Ease. All right, those look good. How about picking your particular niche, whatever that is, and then constantly trading up for nicer and nicer ones? I mean, that's kind of what you do, though. You get to a point where it becomes harder and harder to add things to the collection, because the pieces that you don't have, that you're missing, are very expensive. So what you end up doing is you say, okay, well, you know, you come across a better 51 Signet, you know. You would pick every model that had a flighter. Yeah, I mean, I can see doing the flighter thing. 51, 45, 61. And then you've got like the lesser models, like what, 17, 25. I think those came in flighters, and then you kind of expand on, well, it wasn't called a flighter. You got the classic. You know, and are we defining flighter as stainless steel with gold trim, or does stainless steel with silver colored trim, steel trim fit into that program? I'm going to put this in the Rapido-Ease and see if we can get some of this turquoise ink out of the section. Oh, I've got some in the ultrasonic here, so. Man, I am going to cook through this repeatedly. Yeah, what other collection ideas you got? So going back to the story about my friend who had a collection of only green Esterbrookes, he started because he got the two hardest to find probably like right away. He managed to find a green twist filler and a marbled green foliage green V-clip. And green was one of the few colors that you can find in most of the series. Green, red's the yellow one. You know, I mean, you can do black, but that's kind of boring. And he didn't want to collect Esterbrookes, and so he's the guy. And Adam, if you're still out there, let me know how you're doing. Who traded me? I don't remember why we traded. I must have had a green Esterbrook he wanted. I think his name was Adam. Well, it's been a long time. Man, it's been 20 years. He had the DT Rosborough white Esterbrook that matched Lisa's pencil, that matched Lisa's pen. So he's the reason I have the pen. You know what I want to do? I want to knock this out. I don't really like to knock these out, but I want to knock this one out. It's not set right. Sometimes you got to leave well enough alone. But that alone was worth it. Just to clean out the section. Feed looks great. You want a smaller grouping, you pick every Parker that had a Signet, a gold filled model. I think there would be fewer of those than there would be of Flighters or all stainless steel. I'm waiting for a nice 51 Signet to show up sometime. I know where there's one for sale. in Wisconsin, but it's hilariously overpriced. Like comically, laughably overpriced. And it looks like it was used as a hammer. I mean, if you have to, you can get dents out of a cap. That's not too hard, but getting the jewel off is a pain. But the barrel, that pen would have to be like $20 for me to buy it. And then it would be a serious placeholder while I actively look to replace it. All right. That'll do. I could knock the other one out, but I'm just hoping that the Rapidoise takes care of it for me. My biggest concern wasn't actually the ink window, it was the fact that the nib and feed were not lined up correctly. How about balances with price codes on them in every price? What was the cheapest one? $3.75? Did they go past 20? So it just looks too clean for that to have that little bit extra stuff. So let's see if we can. Ooh, it does not want to come off. Yeah, a little bit, but secret sauce. See if that helps. What do you think? Should we try this more again? Should we try more again? Should we try more and more? So this lever is annoying because it's flopping around, so we're going to tape it down. I don't want to accidentally get it stuck on my, caught on my finger or something, and then. Come on, you beast. Come on. This is a perfect example of why vintage pen repair is not always easy. We talked about it a little bit earlier this week, yesterday maybe even. Amazon. It looked like shellac, but it's not acting like shellac. Shellac would have opened. Right now. I think for this one, I'm going to try and fill it. Let's see what happens. I kind of expected that would happen. Oh, there we go. That went through pretty quickly. My hope was that we would get, it's, can't possibly be just dried ink. Let's try the block. Although the back wrench is, back extractor is pretty tight, but this was after all the original Parker tool. Yeah, no, that didn't work. That's unusual because usually that's really pretty tight. I've been down this road before. I'm starting to see, starting to know a dead vac when I see one. All right, we're gonna let this one soak. What do we got here? Something tells me this is permanently stained. Yeah, it won't come out. Which is too bad. It is so clear. Um, all right, let's see if maybe it does something in there. After that, we're running out of options. That's gonna stay stained because whatever. Let's see what it does. Ah! Oh, friend of yours on the west coast of Florida just posted pictures of a dashboard of a USPS vehicle reading at 108 degrees. Yeah, I used to live on the west coast. That was the cooler coast. Let's get some sacks for these guys. 15 and 16, maybe. Yeah, a bit bigger than that, actually. Yeah, yeah, 16 and 17. That's one we can do up. Get that started. It won't take long to notice whether or not that is. Going to work or not. Hmm. This part here is underneath in the section, so I can experiment with trying to scrape it off. I'm seeing a little bit of it. It seems like it's coming, but it's... And I've got the round ends of my pick, not the sharp end. So I'm getting some of it off, but hmm. Some of it come off. You can feel it though. You can feel it's whatever it is. It's built up. Gary, how you doing? Happy. I almost said happy Friday, but because for me it's almost Friday. In just 2 hours, I will be watching the what I am sure, and I don't know who won. I don't know what the status is. The most exciting. You have a book storage issue? Did you win those books? That's my man. I'll be watching the most exciting stage of the Tour de France thus far. In fact, Lisa said after she's getting done right at 4. Which means we should be able to get the podcast out. I don't think there's a ton of stuff to discuss, but usually when we say that, we come up with something, and we did come up with something a little different to discuss, so who knows how long that's going to go or how well that's going to go. And then she's just going to drop me off and then go grocery shopping, and we're going to eat later so I can ride and watch the tour, because if I don't start watching the tour, then it's a late night. And the last couple stages, though, you're kind of flat and kind of boring. So, but you won all those books, I take it. They had magazines too. That was the other thing I was looking today. They had all sorts of Australian cycling magazines. It opened at 200. There were no bids, so they took it down to 180. You bid and won. 230 including commission. Now you just need to pick it up. I mean, you sell the ones you got for $10 a piece. Oh, but you did see the magazines. Okay, so I'm seeing a little bit of green come out of here. I think we just need to leave this sit. We'll play with that a little bit later when we get around to the. Well, we're going to work on those next, because this more and this vacuumatic just aren't happening. They're not happening today, that's for sure. Okay. Well, hey, we got one pen done. I mean, and I'm being hyper picky on this, right? Which is okay. You can be hyper picky on that. This guy will be ready to test next week. We got maybe at the end of the day we'll see if this cleans up nice. Let me move this out of the way. A couple of those Esterbrook pastels that we were working on earlier in the week, late last week. A couple of them sold. So that's the trick. Before they even went on the website, that's the trick. If you see something you like, email me. Because sometimes it could be 2-3 months before some of this stuff gets up on the web. You already have 9 of the books. You'll give them to mates. Yeah, that's a good idea. Spread the love. Very careful with these. Your pens from North American Auctions arrived today? So my goal here is we're going to get these put together so we can at least protect those needles. And then we can see, and then everything is clean. We should be able to, really should be able to assemble these pens. Look at that, it's still. But this one's the same way. Yeah, not as bad. No, still. This one's good. It moves. This one's a little bit bent, which now worries me. Let's try the bulb syringe. This is probably why I don't work on these things. I still have not reached. There we go. I still have not received shipping notification on my photographs that I bought from the Netherlands. Oh, look at that. That's nasty. We're going to drop that back in the let's just make sure this is good. Ah, seems kind of jammed up too now. A violin E string here. But the problem is once it gets bent, it's really hard to get straight again. It's almost better just to cut it off and There we go. So that one came all the way through. It's hard to see it. Oh, shoot. Okay, that seems to be okay. I'm gonna. This one we can start to see there's some stuff coming out, and all of this crap and sediment in the bottom came out. So this one is not clean enough. Well, that's a good sign. It fell completely out. Let's try this again. Too tight. We'll put some silicone on there. I just want to double check. That's pretty good. Barrel's clean. sure is tight. So we're aiming for 1. I've got about 25 minutes to get this together. Here we go. This one's a little tougher because it doesn't have a notched end, so that's why I had to use the cloth around it. Piston's real smooth. Well, should we try it? Should we see if it fills? Probably should use some different water. That didn't help. Okay. Get some water. A squeaky chair. First test is just to see if it fills and expels water. So we got bubbles coming out. Yeah. And you got to kind of leave it in there because it's sucking up through such a small hole that if I pull it out too early, you can hear the... Yeah, that's cool. I say we ink this thing up. And just to remind you, this is kind of what it looked like when we started. Well, let's put this cap together though first, huh? Whenever you can take a cap apart, make sure to polish it before you put everything back together because it's a whole lot easier now than it is to do it later. Breather hole there, a little vent hole. Well, this plating is pretty thin on this clip. So, that'll work. Let's see. What do we think? Made in Germany is actually on the side. Looks like it's on the side of the cap. Okay. Set up nice and shiny. That looks pretty smart with that gray in there, doesn't it? I'd have to keep one of these for myself. That whole hard rubber thing and all. Nice size pen. It's leaking. Wonder if you have to. Maybe there's air in there or something. Must be air. Let's try that again. Let's just see if that does it again. If I don't. I pulled it out before it was full. Because when you pull it up, you can hear the because it's sucking through such a small, it's creating a vacuum and it's sucking up through such a small. Let's try it again. There it is. Why not? Spin that out. I want to check that balance section. Yeah, I've never seen them this black. It is a smart looking pen, isn't it? I mean, that's how you see them. I like the gray myself. The red will look sharp too. All right, got a couple minutes here. Let's get cooking. Any progress on this section? I see a little bit of green stuff in there. It works, but it doesn't really work. I've been able to scrape some of it off. You can see in this area here. But it's swirled around. Yeah, it's not coming off. It's not coming off. Well, we tried. Um, I think there's too much risk of scratching the ink window. And that's just going to look worse. So last thing we're going to do today is we're going to cut this sack. And then these will be ready to go on Monday. Ready to test anyway. No idea what that green stuff is. All right. Well, that's where we're going to end today. This vac is dead in the water, I think. The more we're going to let soak. We're going to let soak. I'll let it soak overnight. I'll check it tomorrow. Make sure that there's no adverse effects, but I don't think there will be. I'll check it later today. And if it looks okay tomorrow, I'll let it soak over the weekend. We'll look at it on Monday. Good to go there. We've got all these pens over here to test. We can assemble these here. I still have this other Koh-inoor section soaking. I've got this Delta Graph. I got the nib section soaking. And we still got to get to this Cardinal here. We'll get to that at some point too. And let's see, vest pocket. We're waiting on a pressure bar for that. And that's all I got. So I'm going to get cleaned up here. Get ready for the podcast, which will start in about 25 minutes, give or take, 5 or 10. And enjoy the race. Yeah. Thanks. I'm looking forward to watching it tonight. So I'll watch most of the race, probably all 5 hours. Get you on the podcast. Yeah, absolutely. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you at the podcast. If not, we'll see you next week. All right. Take care. Thanks everyone. Bye.